organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up tonight on Daily Iowan TV, a Hawkeye legend. An honorable Iowa football coach is making his way back to the area.
In new regulations, Iowa City landlords have a new policy that might change up how you take out the trash.
One Hawkeye Hooper is on the list for a national award.
Find out who and more later on in sports.
All of that and more coming up.
Stick around because Daily Iowan TV starts now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Alana Neal.
And I'm Jeremy Meyer.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump brought his rally to the field house here at the UI. According to a recent CNN poll, Trump is leading the pack by over 40%. But Trump won't be welcomed by everyone. There have been protests outside the field house since at least 5:30 p.m. Tuesday night. We will give you updates on the rally in tomorrow's edition of Daily Iowan TV.
2 people have been charged after secretly creating videos attempting to show Planned Parenthood purchasing and selling fetal tissue. David Daladin and Sandra Merritt were charged with tampering with government documents and the, quote, purchase and sale of human organs, end quote. Planned Parenthood has been cleared in the alleged transgressions. This investigation will be a huge factor in the upcoming Iowa caucus because of the reaction from the public.
Adults are now being told to be screened for depression after a recommendation by the United States Preventative Services Task Force. In the past, mental health services have not been widely available, but with the current federal law, private insurers are required to cover mental and physical conditions equally. Doctors are screening patients for depression by asking 10 short survey questions. The overall goal is to help bring more awareness to depression.
Juvenile delinquents now have a chance to fight in court against their initial life sentence. The Supreme Court ruled 6-3 on Monday that teenage or underage murderers deserve the right to argue for parole or a resentence. In 2012, mandatory life sentences were ruled as unconstitutional, but now those put away decades ago are to be treated with the same rights as juveniles today.
And a new ordinance is in the works for Iowa City. The City Council could make it easier than ever for people living in apartments to recycle. Daily Iowan's Keaton Fuller has a story.
Once a week, roommates Natalie and Paige get up, gather their recyclables, load them into their car, and take the 15-minute journey to the recycling center where they sort it all out.
We think it's important to recycle because we like to take personal responsibility for everything that we buy.
The 2 roommates are part of the 45% of Iowa City's population that lives in apartments where recycling services are not provided. However, that is possibly about to change. A new ordinance on the table for Iowa City City Council may soon see landlords providing recycling services for their tenants, thereby making the extra steps that people like Natalie and Paige take to recycle a thing of the past. The project has been in the works since 1992, and for City Recycling Coordinator Jen Jordan, getting tenants access to recycling services is a top priority.
And it's a huge issue primarily in that they don't have direct access to recycling services. So this would, if this passes, this would provide essentially the rest of Iowa City residents with equal opportunity to recycle.
For an estimated cost of only $2.57 a month, a cost that most students surveyed said they would be willing to pay, this could be the last winter that I find myself facing the cold in order to recycle. There is no set date for the issue to go before City Council yet, but once it does, tenants will have the chance to make a difference without leaving the comfort of their apartment. Reporting from Iowa City, Keaton Fuller, Daily Iowan TV.
Well, it was really treacherous around campus yesterday. Outside my apartment with the brick road, it was pretty slick with all of that sleet and snow going on.
That's right, it wasn't an easy walk to class this morning for me either with all the slipping and sliding going on. Let's toss it over to Becca in the weather studio.
Well, good news. We aren't expecting any rain or snow in the coming days, but this frozen rain from yesterday has made for some slippery sidewalks. Waking up to low 20s on Wednesday morning won't feel too bad once we look ahead into the afternoon, where we see temperatures in the mid-30s. Later on into the night, you can still expect low 30s with a few clouds in the sky. As for the rest of the week, Highs will be around 40 degrees, which will probably feel like summer is right around the corner. Wednesday and Thursday, we stay right around the upper 30s for our high and mid to lower 20s for the lows. We'll finally hit a high of 43 on Friday, and the sun should be shining. The temperature will stay in the upper 40s and will stick around for a couple days. Expect some rain towards the end of the weekend and the beginning of next week. That's all I have for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
January is Stalking Awareness Month, and the Rape Victim Advocacy Program is having a Stalking in the Cinema Night to raise awareness. Zhao Li and Sydney Zatz have the story.
Every year, around 7.5 million people have affected by stalking. This includes both men and women. This Tuesday, there's going to be a Stalking in the Cinema event hosted by the University of Iowa Rape Victim Advocacy Program.
Give prevention tips or, give support. So we're doing this event in order to kind of have that discussion about what stalking looks like in movies compared to what it's like in real life. 15% of women have been affected by stalking and 6% of men. And so every year around 7.5 million people have been affected by stalking.
Currently a senior, Haley said she joined RVAP for a reason.
I joined RVAP because sexual assault awareness and supporting those who are survivors of sexual assault is something that's very important. The person that's doing the stalking on them is either an ex-partner or someone they know.
If you're interested in volunteering at RVAP, you can always call them during their regular open hours from 8 to 5. Reporting from Iowa City, Zhao Li and Sydney Zatz, Day Iowan TV.
Officials are interested in building a restoration center to help those with mental illnesses. Some with mental illness end up in an emergency room or jail. Officials hope the center will be an alternative to that. Law enforcement representatives will be sent to national training sessions to learn more about handling mental illness. These programs are crafted to give law enforcement workers tools to ensure safety.
The Laverne Cox Lecture at the University of Iowa has been postponed. Reportedly, it's due to a scheduling conflict with the original date, February 1st. Laverne Cox is a star in the Netflix series Orange is the New Black and is the first transgender woman to produce and star in her own television show. The University Lecture Committee is working to reschedule that event.
The College of Public Health is hosting an event called the Privilege Walk Wednesday in Iowa City. It's an interactive discussion about understanding privilege and its effects on society. The event is open to the public, located in a Callahan auditorium of the Public Health Building.
Fry, the legendary Iowa Hawkeye football coach, may be returning to Iowa, but not in the way you think. The city of Coralville wants to build a bronze statue in his honor. Fry led the Hawkeyes to 14 bowl games, including 3 trips to the Rose Bowl. If the city council approves the statue, it will be placed somewhere along First Avenue, also known as Hayden Fry Way.
Well, on that note about sports, Jeremy, I have to admit I don't know much about sports, but I know our basketball team is making a name for themselves.
The number 3 team in the country during this school year, football and wrestling as well in the top 3 nationally. It's been a great year for Hawkeye sports. For more, let's toss it over to the sports studio, where Colin and Katie are standing.
Iowa Gymnastics is taking center stage tonight as both Jim Hawkeye's squads were in action over the weekend.
It's the women's squad that starts us off. It was a Big Ten Conference upset Saturday night in Carver Hawkeye Arena as the Jim Hawks provided the upset over nationally ranked Ohio State.
Ashlyn Bauer was at the meet and has the update.
Thanks, guys. This is Ashlyn Bauer inside Carver Hawkeye Arena, where the Iowa Hawkeye Jim Hawks just defeated the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Jim Hawks beat the Buckeyes 196.375 to 195.025. This is their best overall score of the season for the Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes have been focusing on more than just gymnastics these past few weeks. It is a lot more of non-gymnastics things than it is gymnastics, stated head coach Larissa Libby.
So the mental side of it is basically for me details and just the little things you can fix, because we know we can all do gymnastics, we can all do the skills. It's the getting to the competition and competing and doing what we know how to do in practice.
Our training didn't change. We just had a few mistakes in the past meet. So the same thing, taking care of our bodies and just keep pushing.
Molly Drent, a junior for the Hawkeyes, won the all-around competition with a 39.3, followed by her teammate Angel Metcalf, who is also a junior with a 39.275. Metcalf performed a trio of her personal bests on vault, beam, and floor. The Hawks have another Big Ten matchup next Sunday in College Park, Maryland. That's all I have for you guys here. Back to you guys in the studio.
The season is really starting to heat up as the squad only has 3 more contests for the Big Ten Championships in Lincoln, Nebraska.
University of Iowa senior basketball player Jared Utoff has been named to the midseason watch list for the Oscar Robertson Trophy as announced Monday by the U.S. Basketball Writers Association.
Utoff is one of only 20 players to be put on the list and one of 3 Big Ten players to find their name in the running. Utoff leads the Big Ten in block shots and scoring.
Now, many national publications have said that Utoff is playing like one of the best players in college basketball right now, and this is the 6'7" forward's first national award watch list.
The men's gymnastics team had their first official home meet this past weekend, and while they may have fallen to the University of Illinois, it was a close battle right up into the final rotation, although the Fighting Illini were ahead by 11 slots in the ranking.
The Hawks were able to come within just 0.3 of a point in the final score. Holly Reimer was there and has the story.
The number 10 University of Iowa men's gymnastics team took on the number 3 Fighting Illini this past weekend at Carver Hawkeye Arena. The two teams met just one short week ago at the Windy City Invitational in Chicago, where the University of Illinois finished first and the Hawkeyes took home 4th place. This time the Hawks knocked out the University of Illinois in rings and on high bar. But according to Coach J.D. Reeve, mistakes on the pommel horse and vault cost them the meet.
Anybody can win a meet with 3/10 between the two teams. That was a great sporting event, which is what we wanted to do. We had some really good competition in these last 2 rotations. Like, they showed up, knew it was tight, performed really well. We can't make the mistakes we did on pommel horse. We can't make the mistakes we did on vault. Otherwise, I'm really pleased with the way they performed tonight.
Though the outcome was just shy of a win, there were a few standout performers in the meet. Senior Jack Boyle had one of his best meets, taking the title in the all-around competition with a score of 85.950.
I think it's partially because just the competitive nature of this meet, very close throughout the whole time, so it kind of pushed me to try a little bit harder.
Boyle also claimed first place in the rings and almost tied his career best on the high bar with a score of 15.3. Corey Patterson followed close behind on the high bar with a 14.7, and Matt Lockton came in third with a score of 14.450. On the parallel bars, sophomore Dylan Ellsworth earned his first event title of the season with a 15.2. This blew his previous record of 14.6 out of the water. The team went on to beat number 19 UIC the following day, launching them from number 10 to number 6 in the polls. Iowa is back in action this Saturday as they compete in Norman, Oklahoma against number 1 ranked Oklahoma. This is Holly Reimer, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Tomorrow's show focus is on the number 3 ranked Hawkeye basketball team. We talk Adam Woodbury.
And also take a look at the sharp shooting offense from behind the three-point line for the Hawkeyes.
Ilana and Jeremy, back to you at the desk.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest news. I'm Jeremy Meyer.
And I'm Alana Neal. Have a great night.